Sometimes it's hard to give yourself self-compassion. It's hard to give yourself the outs that you need because you feel guilty.
I'm fine. Two words that are simple, automatic, and familiar. It's what we say when someone asks how we're doing in the hallway or on a phone call or at the end of a long day. And sometimes it's true, and sometimes it's easier than explaining everything that we're carrying. For caregivers, advocates, parents, siblings, and even patients, I'm fine can become more than a response. It can become a way of pushing through, a way of keeping everyone else moving, a way of making sure our own needs stay at the bottom of the list. Today we're talking with John Palmatier, Executive Director of the Alaska Hemophilia Association. John is a father, an advocate, and someone who has spent years supporting families while navigating the realities of caregiving for the bleeding disorders community himself. And like so many caregivers, John's learned that helping others often starts with something many of us struggle to do, asking for help ourselves.
Do I really need that help? You know what? I do. I need my alone time. I need time to just unwind. I need time to get my head straight. I need time to tag out and let somebody else take over for a moment.
Caregivers often become experts at recognizing when everyone else needs support. They notice the stress. They see the exhaustion. They step in when someone else is struggling. But those same warning signs can be surprisingly difficult to recognize in themselves.
When you're sacrificing, you forget what it's doing to you and that you need to repair yourself.
The thing about sacrifice is that it rarely feels dramatic in the moment. It's usually one more appointment, one more responsibility, one more thing that needs your attention. And over time, caring for others can become so routine that caring for yourself starts to feel optional. But eventually, the weight begins to show up somewhere.
When there's so many needs, you often feel overwhelmed or inadequate to handle all the needs. And that inadequacy, makes you feel bad.
That feeling may sound familiar, not because caregivers aren't doing enough, but because the need can feel endless. There is always another challenge, another problem to solve, another person depending on you. And when you're focused on what still needs to be done, it can be difficult to recognize everything you've already accomplished.
So what I have to do is I have to focus on the good that I have and take joy in the victories that I have.
Sometimes sustainability isn't found in solving every problem. It's found in recognizing the impact you have already made, taking stock of the victories and celebrating progress, giving yourself permission to acknowledge that what you're doing matters. For John, that perspective comes from years of supporting families across one of the most unique communities in the country. Alaska presents challenges that many of us never have to think about. Communities separated by hundreds of miles, travel dependent on weather, families living in places that can literally be difficult to reach. And when you're supporting people across a state that large, caregiving takes on an entirely different scale.
The Alaska bleeding disorder community, now we all say their community is unique. And you know what? Every community is unique. But we have people that live in remote villages. But I'm not always dressed like this. I'm here for a kids camp. We bring kids from all over. I have kids that come from a community with the bleeding disorder, and they come from a community of 20, 25 people. They got to take a mail plane that comes in 3 times a week that lands on floats on the lake. If a passenger needs to go back, they go back, but usually it's designed for mail. Then they go to another community that is often weathered in. In fact, those kids aren't here today because I got to go pick them up later because they got weathered in. The logistics of it. And then they get here and it's a whole new world.
Sometimes arriving at camp means stepping into an environment they have never experienced before. It's difficult to imagine just how different that experience can be, not only for families, but for the children themselves.
I've had kids at camp that come here and they've never seen trees. They come up and they touch a tree and they go, wow, and said, is it real? Can I touch it? Yeah, can I hug it? Then they walk away and the wind starts to blow and the tree starts to sway. They go, they can do that? They think the tree is moving its own volition. You don't know because they've never seen it.
It's an incredible reminder that every person arrives with a different story, different experiences, different challenges, and most certainly, different fears. And for caregivers, understanding those differences often becomes part of the responsibility. The challenges aren't only medical, they're geographic, logistical, and emotional. And every effort to support one person has the potential to impact an entire family, an entire community, and sometimes generations that follow. That's the ripple effect. Throughout our conversation, and really throughout many of the conversations we have had on this segment, one theme keeps resurfacing: the tendency to keep going, to push through, to minimize what we're carrying, especially when other people are counting on us. So we asked John what he hears when someone says the two simple words, "I'm fine."
When someone says, I'm fine, if I'm over there and someone says, how are you doing? I go, I'm fine. That is a cry for help. I'm at my breaking point and I have a coin broke. So I'm fine is a call for help. Someone says, I'm fine. That means you have to take a little more time to, if you're saying it, take time for yourself. If someone else you love or someone you know is saying it, it's time to find out what you can do to help them.
Caregivers spend so much time making sure everyone else is okay. But care was never meant to move in only one direction. The people offering support need support too. The people showing compassion deserve compassion. And the people carrying the load shouldn't have to carry it alone.
You're doing a great job. You are doing enough. You're doing beyond what anybody could ever expect of you. Take a moment to realize that. Take the victories. Take the things you've done. You are doing a great job.
Maybe that's the reminder this conversation leaves us with. The same compassion we extend to others has to include ourselves. Because caring for yourself isn't stepping away from caregiving. It's what makes caregiving possible. And sometimes the strongest thing a person can say isn't "I'm fine." It's "I need help." Thanks for listening to another segment of I'm Fine.